February 13th on this day, in 1258, Baghdad, a city of 1 million people, fell to the Mongol invaders. The Mongols destroyed the Abbasid Caliphate, massacring tens of thousands and bringing an end to the Islamic Golden Age. In 1542, King Henry VIII of England ordered the execution of his fifth wife, Catherine Howard, on charges of adultery. In 1575, Henry III of France married Louise de Lorraine-Vaudemont, strengthening his royal ties. In 1601, a fleet of 5 British East India Company ships, led by James Lancaster commanding the vessel Red Dragon, departed from London on their first voyage. This journey lasted nearly 16 months and marked the beginning of English involvement in Asian trade. In 1649, English author John Milton published his first political work, The Tenure of Kings and Magistrates, in response to the execution of King Charles I. In 1689, the Parliament of England adopted the Bill of Rights, establishing key rights for the Parliament and placing new limits on the powers of the Crown. In 1692, soldiers commanded by Archibald Campbell, the 10th Earl of Argyll, killed members of the MacDonald clan of Glencoe. The massacre occurred because their chief, Alexander MacDonald, missed the deadline to swear allegiance to King William III. In 1862, the 4-day Battle of Fort Donelson began in Tennessee during the American Civil War, marking a significant Union victory. In 1866, Jesse James carried out his first bank robbery, beginning his infamous career as an outlaw in the American West. In 1883, German composer Richard Wagner, whose operas and music had a profound influence on Western music, died in Venice at the age of 69. In 1914, the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, also known as ASCAP, was founded to protect music creators' rights. In 1920, Hall of Fame baseball player Rube Foster and 7 other team owners established the Negro National League at a meeting in a Kansas City YMCA, creating the first professional black baseball league. In 1922, Harold Hal Moore Jr., future U.S. Army Lieutenant General and co-author of We Were Soldiers Once and Young, was born. He later led troops in the crucial Battle of Ayadrang Valley. In 1936, the first Social Security checks were mailed in the United States, beginning the nation's social insurance program. In 1942, Adolf Hitler canceled Operation Sea Lion, Germany's planned invasion of England during World War II. In 1945, Allied planes began bombing the German city of Dresden, creating a devastating firestorm that destroyed much of the city and killed over 22,000 people. In 1949, a mob in Ecuador burned down a radio station after its broadcast of H.G. Wells's War of the Worlds, mistaking fiction for reality. In 1951, during the Korean War, United Nations troops successfully contained a Chinese offensive at the Battle of Chipyong-ni in a 2-day struggle. In 1953, the Pope requested that the United States grant clemency to convicted spies Ethel and Julius Rosenberg. In 1960, France became the 4th nation to possess nuclear weapons by detonating its first atomic bomb, a 70-kiloton device named Gerboise Bleu, in the Algerian Sahara Desert. In 1968, the United States sent an additional 10,500 combat troops to Vietnam, escalating its involvement in the war. In 1970, General Motors announced plans to redesign automobiles to operate on unleaded fuel, a major step toward reducing environmental pollution. In 1972, the film adaptation of Cabaret, directed by Bob Fosse and starring Liza Minnelli, Michael York, and Joel Grey, was released, becoming a classic of musical cinema. In 1983, renowned comedian and filmmaker Jerry Lewis married his second wife, dancer Sandy Pitnick. In 1984, Konstantin Chernenko was chosen to succeed Yuri Andropov as General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. In 1996, Death Row and Interscope Records released rapper Tupac Shakur's 4th studio album, All Eyes on Me, which would be his final album released before his death. In 2000, the final Peanuts comic strip appeared in newspapers, just hours after the death of its creator, Charles Schulz. In 2002, the Scottish Parliament passed the Protection of Wild Mammals Bill, which made it illegal to hunt wild mammals with dogs, effectively banning fox hunting in Scotland. In 2008, Australian Prime Minister Kevin Rudd issued a formal apology to Aboriginal Australians for abuses and injustices suffered under previous governments. In 2016, Antonin Scalia, Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States and a prominent legal conservative, died in Shafter, Texas.
Subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's events.